Why does this matter? Why does learning about nutrition, why is having a proper diet matter? Because the vast majority of deaths in the United States come back to diet. Heart disease, cancer, stroke, Alzheimer's, type 2 diabetes, kidney disease, maybe, but definitely heart disease, cancer, stroke, Alzheimer's, diabetes, type 2. All of these are related to diet. Why? And these are things that don't just all of a sudden manifest after a month. These are chronic things. These are things that take decades to develop. With Alzheimer's, I mean, 60s, unfortunately, for some, but 70s and 80s. I mean, that's a lot of time to manifest. And there's a vast number of information research showing talking about some of these plaques that are in the brain. And we think that they're all evil. Well, there's some interesting research to suggest that not all of those plaques are evil. Some of those plaques are necessary. And if you get rid of all of those plaques in that brain, that can cause some issues as well. So, I mean, just when you think you got it figured out, there's new research to come out to suggest, now hold up, that's not entirely true. But all of these things are very chronic conditions. Okay? And again, you don't think it, but the crap that you're doing now in your 20s sets you up for success or failure in your 40s. And when you're in your 20s, I get it, man. Holy smokes. I was indestructible. Okay. I still am. I'm 23. But all of these things take forever to develop and manifest. Okay. Heart disease, diabetes, cancer, some of those major causes of death. Okay. And it's very complex. Okay. Just taking one thing out of your diet may not be the thing, or consuming an enormous amount of one specific type of food source or nutrient is not necessarily going to fix the situation either. It is a very kind of big, huge, sloppy mess that goes into the development sometimes of these chronic diseases. When we look at that, sometimes it's genetics. There are genetic components for a lot of these things. And there is a vast amount of research to support that phenomenon. Now, genetics is not everything. Okay. Just because you have maybe certain genetic markers that suggest a greater likelihood of something developing does not necessarily mean it's going to develop. There's this concept called epigenetics, okay, nutrigenomics, and it looks at how nutrition turns on and off some of these gene sequences. Fascinating. I think there's a whole kind of, there used to be a few different businesses, excuse me, that looked at, taking your genetic profile and, carving out a diet plan based on your genetic profile. Interesting. Family history. What's your mom and dad? What's your grandma and grandpa? Brothers, sisters. Okay. If you have a family history, if you're, say you're a female, you're a mom, you're a woman, your mom has breast cancer, her mom had breast cancer, your grandma. The chances of you having breast cancer are pretty good. That's a family history and a genetic link as well. So if that's the case, you want to take steps to prevent that from happening. Try to prevent that from happening. Eating right, lifestyle choices, dietary, exercise. You may still do those things and you may still get it. Unsafe environmental conditions. I mean, we'll look a little bit about that. Okay. The biggest one is, if you're going to work around radiation, if you're going to be a rad tech, radiologist, work around in those areas, especially. Okay. Monitor your exposure to those X-rays. It's going to be something. Psychological factors, we'll talk about those. We'll talk about eating disorders later in the semester. So there are some psychological things, and that just has to go with support. Okay. If you're surrounding yourselves with people that are going to be helpful with you to be successful, that will help to prevent, you from going down a road that, not good. Lack of access to healthcare, obviously that's a big one. That's more endemic to, there's an interesting article that came out looking at just obesity and whatnot, and how those individuals did not access healthcare because they're just very overweight and obese. Okay. And those are the individuals that have all the comorbidities. Okay. They have high blood pressure, probably have some kind of type 2 diabetes situation going on, okay? Have metabolic syndrome happening, need medical intervention, and they're not accessing it because of some psychological factors. That's unfortunate. Okay? Not only that, but if you just look in various different ethnicities, difficult to say, sorry. There are certain enclaves that just don't access healthcare, don't have access to it. Very unfortunate. Obviously, the older you are, the more wear and tear that happens. And that can cause the development of chronic disease as well. And we'll look at some theories on aging at the very end of the semester. But it is not just one individual thing here, okay? It is a number of these things interacting with one another. I don't have the best family history. I have, let's see, my dad passed away at 45 from a heart attack. That's not good. My mom passed away several years ago from cancer. That's not good. Let's see, I have a grandparent who had really bad type 2 diabetes. She was obese. Lost a kidney. Another grandparent had dementia, Alzheimer's. Another one that had a heart attack. So see, I don't got the best genetics. I don't have the best family history. But I'm not letting that define a damn thing about me. I am I eat well, healthy. It's disgusting. I exercise plenty. It's disgusting. And so I do a lot of healthy lifestyle choices here to help prevent some of this nasty crap that I have lurking in my family history. Okay? So just because you may have a genetic marker or two, just because you have a family history of it, doesn't mean you have to go out like that. Okay. So making the right dietary practices, exercise habits, lifestyle choices, okay, you can help to prevent the development of some of this nasty stuff that we have over here. And really the underlying thing with a lot of these is going to be obesity. Okay. Obesity, heart disease, obesity, cancer, obesity, stroke, high blood pressure, blockage of arteries, obesity with diabetes. Okay. So obesity is going to be an underlying factor for a lot of these things here. The government's got your back though, right? Government's got your back. They come out with a kind of survey every kind of 10 years or so. Here's the most recent one. I think there's one that's 2030 that just came out. Basically right when this book kind of came out. But this is a survey. It looks at a lot of kind of lifestyle choices, nutritional choices, as you can see kind of from the thing here. And it comes up with various different goals. And I have a highlight of some of those here, of some of those goals on the next slide. But they're all kind of geared and designed to reduce the incidence of obesity. Okay. And you can kind of see down there, I don't know if I'll ask, a percentage, at least yet, when it comes to obesity. I have some numbers later in the semester to kind of hammer that concept home a little bit more, and I'll ask them there. But you can kind of see, I mean, from 2005 to 2008, you can see what the goal was. We weren't very good. 2011 to 2014, I mean, these numbers are not going the right way. So it's like, what the hell? Why even do this? Well, because some people do pay attention. But these are some of the major ones that we'll kind of be talking about, especially in this first kind of unit here. So the major objective is to reduce the proportion of adults who are obese. Again, we come up with different shades of red, so we're not doing a very good job there. Increase the contribution of fruits and vegetables to the diet. A serving size for adults is like 1.5 to 2 cups for fruit, and like 2 to 3 cups for vegetables. That's generally kind of what is accepted. Only 12% of Americans met the requirement for fruit. Just a little over 9% of adults met it for vegetables. That's not good. And as you start to kind of work on your diet analysis, you'll see, okay? You'll start to see if you're getting this or not. And where did you learn that from? You learn it from mom and dad. And again, it's hard to figure out what really healthy really means when you've never been taught and you don't really know. Reduce the consumption of calories from all the bad stuff, fats, and added sugars. Okay? If you're curious, there's a hyperlink right there that takes you to it. It's a pretty massive type of study that they kind of come out with again, like every 10 years.